This episode should have been amazing. It has everything I love in it. It's the X-Files. It features the Lone Gunmen. It was written by William Gibson and Tom Maddox, who I really only know as William Gibson's writing partner. And it's about video games. VR. Shooting games. It has all the right ingredients, but for some reason they just don't add up to a tasty whole. No, I'm not rephrasing that. This episode is a dumpster fire. Why shouldn't I be too? That's right, friends. Today we're talking about the X-Files episode First Person Shooter. AKA, this episode was written by horny 12-year-old boys. Change my mind. So let's get into it. First Person Shooter is the 13th episode of the 7th season. By season 7, the X-Files had really stopped caring. David Duchovny was on his way out, and Chris Carter had just thrown caution to the wind. Whatever wild bullshit you wanted to write was a-okay. A brain-eating fast food worker? Sure. Decapitated magician? Great. Mulder and Scully on cops? Bad boys, what you gonna do? A genie who lives in a rug? Yeah, go for it. Who gives a fuck? So it's really not surprising that we got an episode like this season. So what we have here is basically S&M, NPC, Lara Croft killing people in a shooting game because... feminism? I don't know what this episode is trying to say. So right off the bat, whenever TV episodes try to do gamer episodes, they come off just laughably cringy. There's some real Gamer Lingo TM in this one, along with some real fun stereotypes about who plays games and why. Those people, by the way, are men. Women don't play games and don't understand why men play games, at least according to this episode. This is just a very small sampling of my games behind me. But you know, obviously, women don't game. So all of this adds up to me just thinking William Gibson and Tom Maddox have never played a game in their lives and never met anyone who has. There are a lot of things wrong with this episode, so I'm just going to go point by point here. First up is the game itself that the episode centers around. So this VR game is just absolutely terrible. William Gibson wrote Neuromancer. How is he so bad at this? So the game is basically this big empty space that you walk around, and actually it's the holodeck. It's the holodeck from Star Trek. Like, I thought at first that they had VR headsets on because that would actually make sense, but no, it's the fucking holodeck, guys. Anyway, the entire goal of the game is to shoot things. That's it. That's the whole game. The first level is like motorcycle goons and Nazis in an industrial warehouse, and then level 2 is the Old West for some reason, and also there's a tank in the Old West. Oh, and speaking of level 2...
no one's ever beaten level 2.
I'm sorry. No one has beat level 2? Level 2! Yeah, your game sucks. Like, did you not have quality testers? You can't ship a game out that no one's ever beat. Even Mario Maker, fucking Mario Maker, makes you beat the level you create before it goes live. Okay. No one's beat level 2 in this shitty first-person shooter, VR, not VR, holodeck game. No one is gonna play that. This game is about to be shipped out to 50 malls. Malls. Let's go to the mall! And no one is going to pay to play this. It's gonna go out of business in 6 months and be replaced by a laser tag arena, because your game is basically PvE holodeck laser tag, but bad. Also, everyone is way too hyphy about this weak-ass shooting gallery.
I'm a death machine!
Whoa, it's a total massacre out there.
The bloodthirst is unquenchable.
He just stepped into the game.
Go, girl!
Scully is on fire!
The bloodthirst is unquenchable!
Video games.
Digital entertainment.
The next major problem with this episode is that everyone, except maybe Scully, is written completely out of character. These guys wrote an episode in season 5 called Kill Switch, and everyone in that one is pretty much in character, so I'm not sure what went wrong here. What makes it even weirder is that Gibson and Maddox reportedly wrote the Lone Gunmen into this episode because they're such huge fans of the characters. So then why did they do such a bad job of writing them? I mean, I was writing fanfic 20 years ago, get your minds out of the gutter, not that kind, that put the Lone Gunmen on the Starship Enterprise, and I managed to write everyone more in character than they are in this episode. First of all, everything falls apart when you realize the Lone Gunmen called in Mulder and Scully to cover up the fact that the game that they've been doing consulting and programming work on
Langley did some programming for them. He created all of the bad guys.
Only the Eurogoons.
has killed people. Their whole thing is uncovering and exposing conspiracies. But oh well, they have stock options in the game.
Options. Preferred rate. Vesting immediately with the short-term exercise against venture collateral to bypass SEC rigs.
So fuck their principles, I guess. But also the dialogue they're given is just not things they would say. From Go, they seem to have forgotten that Frohickey is our pervy leather daddy hobbit, and given his lines to Langley and Byers.
Welcome to the land where silicon meets silicone.
What the fuck is this? Langley doesn't say sexual shit. Well, I mean, except for like the one time he did.
The only thing that's blown is us, and not in a good way.
Okay, so what about Byers?
Ivan must have called her to go in and slay the ninja babe.
Oh, what have they done to you?
Why does this game have the effect of reducing grown men back to moony adolescents?
Alright. Since everyone in this episode is a horny 12-year-old boy written by horny 12-year-old boys, surely they got Frohickey correct, right?
She's packing a flintlock.
No. You're telling me this horny motherfucker
She's hot. She is so hot.
only commented on the gun? No. Get the fuck out. Every one of their lines is more cringe-inducing than the last, including Byers saying this.
Scully is on fire! Scully's in the zone!
No. This is not Byers. This man wore a corduroy suit to his 5th grade career day. His biggest ambition in life was to be a career bureaucrat.
When I grow up, I want to be a career bureaucrat with the federal government. I want to help as many people as I can and work hard to spread democracy throughout the world.
Okay, but they're just side characters, you may be saying. Surely Mulder and Scully are written in character, right? Right? Well, answer me this. Since when is Mulder a gamer? He barely has a TV, and there are no gaming consoles in his apartment. And now he's suddenly saying things like wireframe and texture wrap?
What about the wireframe? Can you texture wrap her?
There's no way Mulder knows what that is. Mulder can barely check his email. Mulder only uses his computer for porn and constantly has to call the Lone Gunmen to come over and get rid of the viruses he downloads. This is not a man who knows technobabble. And I mean, some of his lines just really go the extra mile to get to what the fuckville. I mean, more so than usual. It's true that staff-written Mulder can get pretty unhinged, but this is just beyond.
She cut off his hands. I've got a birthday coming up. That ain't all she's packing. I don't know about you, Scully, but I am feeling the great need to blast the crap out of something. I don't know about you guys, but I'd be checking my shorts for cake.
Okay, the last one is actually pretty baseline Mulder, but I love Byers' face here. Oh, and getting horny apparently makes Mulder violent, so, that's concerning. Okay, but I did say that Scully escapes the writing mostly unscathed, right? Well, except for maybe this.
Hey! No fair picking on a girl.
Scully manages to avoid most of the cringe. Instead, she gets to exemplify bafflement and moral panic over the appeal of violent video games.
Dressing up like high-tech warriors to play a futuristic version of cowboys and Indians? What kind of moron gets his yayas out like that? Mulder, what purpose does this game serve except to add to a culture of violence in a country that's already out of control? Well, that must be why men feel the great need to blast the crap out of stuff.
And once again, this episode wants you to believe that women aren't interested in gaming. Just a few of my favorites. Violent. Are they violent? Let's see. Deadpool? Is Deadpool violent? Yeah, I think so. Call of Duty. It's a shooter, right? Ooh, I guess I shouldn't be playing that, huh? Earth Defense Force. The entire game is just shooting bugs. Mortal Kombat. I'm ripping out spines. Oh no. Saints Row. Saints Row, you can beat people with a giant dildo bat. Don't tell me that's not fun. But you know, clearly these games only appeal to male aggression and an overload of testosterone, right? Right, X-Files? Right? So this episode skates right up to having a conversation about hostility toward women in the gaming industry and gaming spaces, but abandons it in favor of objectification and sexual harassment played for laughs.
For the record again, my name is Jade Blue Afterglow. I sure upset the man running the metal detector.
I don't know about you, Scully, but I am feeling the great need to blast the crap out of something.
Subtlety? Nuance? What's that? There's a lot to unpack there, so I'm just gonna hit the high points. Or the low points. First up, Jade Blue Afterglow. My notes literally just say, Jesus fucking Christ, and kill me. And, apparently this police station is staffed exclusively by incels who have never seen a woman before in their lives. Like, have they never brought in a scantily clad, attractive woman before, or is this just how they treat all of them? Either way, they all need to be fired. This episode was written by horny 12-year-old boys. Change my mind. Also, it's hilarious to me that these cops were able to identify this woman from the photo that Mulder printed out of her digitized form. Then again, I guess we really shouldn't be too surprised since Mulder has shown a child's drawing of the Jersey Devil around to try to identify it. So this is shockingly in character. So ultimately, we find out that Phoebe, the female game dev or programmer, look, I don't know, and neither does anyone who wrote this episode. Phoebe is the one who scanned Jade Blue Afterglow's likeness into her computer because something female empowerment, something fight the patriarchy. I don't know, and neither does anyone who wrote this episode.
I mean, she was all I had to keep me sane. My only way to strike back as a woman.
This creation then jumped from her computer to the game, which I think is just called first-person shooter. Are we doing that now? Are we just titling games after their genres? Anyway, she jumped off Phoebe's computer and into the game, where she became supercharged off testosterone and male aggression, because remember, women don't play games, and started killing everyone. The Lone Gunmen go into the game to run some tests. They get trapped there. Mulder goes in to save them. He gets trapped there. Scully goes in to save him. And then we find out there was a very simple and very stupid kill command.
Shift, Alt, Bloodbath.
That we didn't use earlier because it destroys the entire game. Like, just completely nukes it. I'm pretty sure that's not how that works, but sure, whatever. The day is saved, and then we get this from Mulder.
That's entertainment.
Mulder. People died. You almost died. What the fuck is wrong with you? But don't worry, because that's not the final word on the subject. Oh no, we get an ending monologue, which we know from earlier seasons was generally Mulder's report, like his official FBI report. This is what he's writing in his official FBI report.
We came, we saw, we conquered. And if the taste of victory is sweet, the taste of virtual victory is not sweet and low, nor the bullets made of sugar. Maybe out past where the imagination ends our true natures lie, waiting to be confronted on their own terms. Out where the intellect is at war with the primitive brain, in the hostile territory of the digital world, where laws are silent and rules disappear in the midst of arms. Born in anarchy, with an unquenchable bloodthirst, we shudder to think what might rise up from the darkness.
Like, just picture poor Skinner having to read this. He's got a glass of whiskey in one hand, a bottle of aspirin in the other, his gun just sitting on his desk in front of him, and he's just debating with himself. So I guess sexy female empowerment NPC is still in the computer, and now it's given itself Scully's face, so I'm done. I'm done. But there are also a few things in this episode that I genuinely find funny. Like in the first-person shooter headquarters, there's this cardboard standee, and this bitch is hilarious. I want this for my house. I also love it whenever Mulder wants us to believe he's cool because he's just such a fucking nerd. He's trying so hard to be cool guy here, going sleeveless in his stupid laser tag vest. They take great pains to show the codpiece when they're like male gaze camera going up Mulder's body. What is happening? So this episode isn't technically the worst of the series, but it is the one that makes me cringe the most just throughout. Like, full body cringe, so much secondhand embarrassment for everyone involved. I mean, just between the cringe all day, every day, everyone being out of character, the story makes no sense. I have no idea what this episode was trying to say about anything. All the weird stereotyping and moral panic around gaming, the knuckle biting, Mulder's "I'm 14 and this is deep" end monologue, and just everything else. I don't know. Did I miss anything, guys? Is there anything else that you would call out? Let me know, because my brain is just screaming to get away from this episode now. Oh, but I finally figured out why everyone in this episode keeps screaming "the bloodthirst is unquenchable." Apparently, it's the tagline of the goddamn game. Nope. I'm done.